Have you ever stopped to think about how an entire society can suddenly seem to go mad? How previously intelligent and rational people are swept away by absurd and often destructive ideas. This phenomenon, which defies logic and common sense, is known as collective psychosis. It is an insidious process capable of destroying entire civilizations, and the most alarming part is that it might be happening right now, right before our eyes. Gustave Le Bon, in his study of crowd behavior, made a chilling observation. The masses never seek the truth. They prefer to embrace seductive lies rather than face reality. Those who deceive them become their leaders. Those who try to open their eyes become their victims. This insight underscores a bitter truth about the power of collective irrationality. Throughout history, countless examples reveal how crowds have been manipulated into committing atrocities. Carl Jung, the renowned psychologist, warned of humanity's greatest danger: ourselves. For Jung, the true threat does not lie in natural disasters or external conflicts, but in the human mind, dominated by uncontrollable inner forces. According to him, when we succumb to collective irrationality, we become more destructive than any catastrophe. Today, unsettling signs of collective psychosis are surfacing once again. But what exactly is this phenomenon? How does it arise, and what are its impacts? By exploring these questions, we will uncover not only the dangers, but also the solutions to prevent our society from losing its sanity altogether. Collective psychosis is a state of mental disorder that affects entire groups of people. In this phenomenon, individuals relinquish their ability for critical thinking and begin to act as part of a collective mind, often dominated by fear, hysteria, or irrational beliefs. It is a true collapse of sanity, where the emotions and impulses of the group suppress the logic and reasoning of the individual. This concept was extensively studied by psychologists like Carl Jung, who referred to it as a psychic epidemic. According to Jung, these epidemics are triggered by unconscious forces that emerge during times of crisis, making people more susceptible to manipulation and chaos. For Jung, collective psychosis is more destructive than earthquakes, pandemics, or wars because it originates from within the human mind. But how does it arise? Typically, it emerges in situations of extreme fear, uncertainty, and emotional manipulation, where charismatic leaders or authoritarian ideologies take control. In such moments, critical thinking disappears, and the instinct for belonging takes over, leading crowds to adopt irrational behaviors. Understanding collective psychosis is essential to recognizing its signs and preventing society from falling into destructive patterns once again. Collective psychosis does not arise by chance. It is a complex phenomenon fueled by specific conditions that create the perfect environment for the collapse of collective sanity. Three main factors act as triggers: widespread fear, manipulation by leaders, and social conformity. Widespread fear is the fertile ground where collective psychosis takes root. In times of crisis, whether pandemics, wars, or economic turmoil, fear and uncertainty dominate. The need to find explanations or scapegoats creates an opening for irrational beliefs. The more intense the sense of insecurity, the greater the predisposition of people to accept extreme narratives. Manipulation by charismatic leaders also plays a crucial role. Authoritarian or populist figures often present themselves as saviors, offering simple solutions to complex problems. These leaders employ emotional rhetoric, appeals to fear, and promises of safety to suppress critical thinking. Over time, the masses begin to follow their directions blindly, even when these lead to chaos. Finally, social conformity ensures that collective psychosis spreads. The human desire for belonging drives individuals to suppress their doubts and align with the group. Even when collective behavior seems irrational, the greater the social pressure, the harder it becomes to resist the tide. When these factors combine, the collective mind takes over and individuality vanishes. The result is a cycle of destruction where truth is distorted, emotions overpower logic, and unthinkable actions become acceptable. Recognizing these factors is the first step in preventing collective psychosis. Understanding how they operate helps us strengthen our resilience against the dangers of succumbing to the diseased mind of a society. Throughout history, collective psychosis has left devastating marks. From the persecution of innocents to mass genocides, these events demonstrate the destructive power of the collective mind when dominated by irrational ideas and uncontrollable impulses. A classic example is the witch hunts that took place between the 15th and 17th centuries. Thousands of women, often accused without evidence, were tortured and executed under the allegation of practicing witchcraft. Fear and paranoia created an environment where logic was replaced by superstition. Entire communities participated in this massacre, convinced they were eliminating an invisible threat. Another emblematic case is the Holocaust during World War II. German society was engulfed by a narrative of hatred and racial superiority constructed by Nazi leaders. This distorted ideology led millions to commit or condone unspeakable crimes against Jews, Roma people, homosexuals, and other groups. Anti-Semitism, combined with political manipulation and fear of the enemy, turned an advanced society into an accomplice to genocide. More recently, the economic crises of 1929 and 2008 serve as examples of collective hysteria in financial markets and society at large. In both instances, panic spread rapidly, leading investors and ordinary citizens to make irrational decisions, such as mass bank withdrawals and frantic stock sell-offs. This chain reaction further exacerbated the impacts of the crises. Even less lethal but equally irrational movements, such as the hysteria surrounding the Y2K bug, demonstrate the power of collective fear. As the year 2000 approached, it was widely believed that computer systems would fail, leading to global collapse. Governments and companies spent billions to prevent a disaster that never materialized, highlighting how collective anxiety can drive disproportionate actions. These examples illustrate that collective psychosis is neither distant nor rare. On the contrary, it arises during moments of instability, preying on human fears and insecurities. Recognizing these historical patterns is crucial to avoiding the repetition of the same mistakes. As George Santayana famously said, "Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it." Today, collective psychosis is manifesting in unprecedented ways, particularly in the digital age. With the mass adoption of social media and the instantaneous spread of information, irrational ideas and conspiracy theories can gain traction like never before. Social media platforms, driven by recommendation algorithms, create echo chambers where individuals are isolated in their beliefs, detached from reality or alternative perspectives. These closed environments facilitate manipulation and reinforce extremist ideas, creating fertile ground for collective psychosis to thrive. Political polarization is one of the most prominent examples of this phenomenon today. Opposing groups grow increasingly divided, and the line between reason and irrationality becomes dangerously thin. In many cases, political adversaries are viewed as enemies to be destroyed rather than rivals with differing perspectives. Hate-filled rhetoric and misinformation fuel this animosity, creating a psychosocial environment where logic and dialogue are replaced by emotion and aggression. Moreover, digital collective psychosis is amplified by phenomena like fake news. False information spreads faster than the truth and is often designed to provoke panic, division, or confusion. The impact of such misinformation on mass behavior can be devastating. Recent political events have shown how unfounded rumors can trigger chain reactions, influencing elections and even inciting violence. The internet, originally intended as a tool for communication and learning, has increasingly become a psychological minefield. The challenge lies in understanding how digital platforms amplify collective psychosis and determining what can be done to reverse this trend before the consequences become irreversible. Leaders play a crucial role in both the development and escalation of collective psychosis. In times of crisis, they emerge as figures of authority, promising quick solutions to complex problems. Using charisma and persuasive rhetoric, these leaders can turn uncertainty and fear into powerful tools for shaping public opinion. By appealing to the emotions of the masses, they divert attention from reason and create a false sense of urgency that often distorts reality. Populist, authoritarian, or charismatic leaders often exploit people's desire for belonging, urging them to unite against a common enemy, whether internal, such as minorities, or external, such as other nations. This process of unification through adversity is a hallmark of collective psychosis. Over time, the followers of these leaders begin to accept their words as absolute truths, abandoning any form of criticism or independent thinking. Furthermore, collective lies become more effective when repeated incessantly. The infamous principle of Joseph Goebbels, Nazi propaganda minister, "A lie told 1,000 times becomes the truth," demonstrates the power of mass manipulation. In many instances, these leaders exploit human vulnerability, offering promises of safety and stability during uncertain times. However, what they often deliver is chaos. By manipulating the psychology of the masses, they construct a parallel reality where reason is discarded in favor of loyalty and emotion. The danger lies in the momentum of such movements. Once established, they become resistant to logic and reason. Collective psychosis is a powerful and perilous phenomenon, capable of reshaping entire societies and leading to the collapse of civilizations. History has shown how fear, misinformation, and manipulation can drive masses to embrace irrational ideas, resulting in atrocities and crises. In the digital age, this danger is amplified by the rapid spread of fake news and the heightened polarization fostered by social media algorithms. The fragmented information landscape allows echo chambers to flourish, further fueling collective delusion. The role of leaders, whether in times of war, crisis, or uncertainty, remains central to the spread of this phenomenon. Through persuasive rhetoric and exploitation of mass vulnerability, they craft narratives that distort reality and draw people away from reason. The greatest challenge of our time is recognizing the signs of collective psychosis before it takes hold. Only by addressing these dangers early can we prevent history from repeating itself and secure a more balanced and rational future for society.